My name is Audley Coley. I'm presently residing in Montreal. In the last little while, thanks to Bell, Let's Talk, Bell Canada, I've become uh, the face of Bell Let's Talk for mental health. That's where I am right now. I'm going on to 6 years where I've been with Bell Canada for Bell Let's Talk. And I must have to big shout out to Bell Canada for putting me out there internationally. So yes, I'm the guy with the bowler hat on the billboards and the commercials that's been was shown all across Canada in the last couple of years. Now, presently, in the last few years, I've also had two books that were written about me. Uh, telling my journey through mental health. The fact is, I was diagnosed at 27 years old with a bipolar illness, and I mean, I had to learn to own it because being a black man from Jamaica, we're not very good when it comes to dealing with mental health and um, just anything that has to do with, as I said, trauma, mental health. That's for because when there's something happened to you in Caribbean or in Jamaica where I was brought up, they used to assume that there's some kind of we call it in Jamaica obia or voodoo in the Caribbean and stuff like that. So, but as I said, that's kind of where I am. But coming, how I ended up in Montreal was really because of dancing. The first part of my life in Canada was spent in Toronto, and I was fortunate in a way that I would consider myself a token because we always ended up in a neighborhood where we were the only blacks. We went to school. I was the only black. I went to, as I said, a Boy Scout, and so I never thought about it as like so much of a color thing. I guess I really didn't realize I was black until I moved to Montreal. But then I got the dance bug. And I went out one day with some friends of mine, and I won a dance contest. I couldn't be more than about 13, and I won a bag of chips and a Coke, and I was dancing to James Brown, and that's how the legend started. And I said, "Yep," And then I went back to my parents at the time. My dad was still home, and I told him I wanted to be a dancer. You got to remember, I'm a Jamaican black man in early 70s, and I wanted to dance. And no, they kind of shrugged it off. So I had to, like Billy Elliot, the movie, I had to sneak out to go and dance. So I got into a group in Toronto called when the locking street dancing just started, called the Ghetto Boys, and they were up in Victoria Park near the Don Mills. So that's how I started, like doing locking. Like on Saturdays, we'd watch Soul Train, get all the moves the lockers are on, and then we'd go and practice at O'Connor Drive and do the moves. But then we got employed, man. And we were going, and we end up doing shows at the high schools and then colleges, and we were performing all around Toronto. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like when you're a young man and you can dance. You're picking up girls. Well, you're meeting girls. You couldn't do much with them because, but you met. Being a dancer was the next best thing. Being a basketball or track star. If you're a dancer, you're right up there with the basketball players and the track stars. So my early days in Toronto was pretty, as I said, amazing. And but then, as I said, when my dad left, it changed because I had to take responsibility and become the man of the house because my mom was left alone, a single mother, to raise four children. And my dad, who at the time was suffering with burnout or a mental health issue, which we don't discuss because we didn't know anything about it at the time. But he just filed bankruptcy and he left the family. Now, what happens when in Ontario, they just like in most communities, they have social assistants, and they're more than happy to help out uh, the mother as long as the father's not around. They'll put you on welfare or family, some kind of family benefits, and even give you housing. Okay, in Ontario, they have the Ontario housing. When my father left, I did not even realize the amount of trauma or the amount of mental health issues that I had. But you have to be strong. As a Jamaican, what, my dad left, and I'm gonna what call out to a psychiatrist or go for assistance because when somebody screams out for help in the community, it shows weakness. We're not allowed. A man is not supposed to cry. A man, this whole version that they created of what a man is supposed to be is a crock, right? Because I'm a boy, I'm a child, and if my father leaves my mother and the kids and we're bankrupt, I have a right to cry. I have a right to seek mental health, to seek help, but I don't. So all of this goes back inside, and I suppressed this for years. So, yes, there's a lot of people in the community that have major trauma that's been passed down for generation, and they'll never seek help. I would not have sought help until I had the only reason I got help is because I had a breakdown. So I'm speaking from myself personally, and I didn't have a breakdown until I was in my 20s. So my father left, I say I was 16, 17 years old. So I suppress all of these feelings. I don't cry, I don't get mad. And then I create this life based on all this pain and trauma. Okay. And then you adapt that because even in your relationship with what friends or women and all of that, you're carrying that trauma. So you meet somebody else with trauma. So there's no body in in the black community because it's interesting when my dad was at home. My sister is the first one that had a breakdown. My sister actually had a breakdown when the family was together, and nobody, my parents would not go and see a psychiatrist because even when the doctors said we need the family to come and sit down and discuss my sister's situation, they wouldn't because they don't have the tools. And usually when something like that happened, they just thought is somebody put dope on her. It's voodoo, it's some kind of negative evil play and stuff like that. And when you're brought up in a village or a community where um, you have a problem and you can get help for it, which I'm living proof that I got help, and that's why I own my mental health. And I saw my sister, my younger sister, did not have any support, and the rest of the family actually just abandoned her because boy, I don't know is which side of the family, because we're not mad over here, so because my mother don't have any mad people, my father don't have any mad people. It must be duppy. Okay, so no, they if I knew now what I knew, if I knew then what I knew now, it's a different story. But no, in general, black people or people in the community do not seek help when they are having mental health issues. Trauma, narcissist, stress. You know what it all starts from? Stress. It's very simple. Trauma, if you break it all down, when you hear somebody have a heart attack, Okay, when you hear somebody has a mental health breakdown, whatever, it starts with stress. Simple. Cause you like nobody stress me out to know. Because you there Jamaica, you see a man, you roll a spliff and you go out and he get a vibe. You just go somewhere, go cool out. Because when it's too much, and the man said, hit a hot me. And it happens to the best of us, and it comes like that. But he knows. You see the flags, you feel it. And you know if you remove yourself from all of that trauma, that toxic, you can make yourself still. So how I feel is it can be avoided. And when you see it coming, and when it's there, you have to remove yourself. And you know that because you know when you see red or you reach a certain point, if you don't remove yourself, that's why there's so much dead people in Jamaica. Because when a man say, yo, brethren, just cool now, allow me now, and they say that, and there's a point where they don't even talk anymore. Next thing you know, they chop you with a machete or whatever they have. And that could be because temptation or provocation is bad for the soul. So all of these fancy terms, narcissists and all that, it don't even exist. If you just breathe, when you find yourself getting stressed out, take yourself away. Jamaica, they say, take yourself away. Go hold a vibe, right? And it won't happen. Sometimes you have to leave your own family. I've done that. I wouldn't be sitting here right now because there's a point in my family where it is so toxic, so stressful that I'm like, I can't take it anymore. And in order for me to save me, I have to remove myself. You can love somebody from a distance, you can love, but you cannot love anybody more than yourself. Another very good question, but you cannot save anybody unless the person wants to be saved. Okay? If you're an alcoholic and I point out the fact that you're an alcoholic, or if you gamble and I point out the fact that you gamble, unless you own it, unless you accept that you are an alcoholic or you're a gambler, and then this is the best way you can moving forward, how you can help somebody. You let them know, you know, I care about you. I see what you're doing to yourself. When you're ready, I'm over here. But the decision is saving somebody. You cannot. Women try to do that all the time. When they try to save a man, from whatever relationship he had with his mother, his families, or so on and so forth. It doesn't work until the person owns their trauma or whatever. They have to own it. Like me right now, as I said, I own bipolar. I own manic depressive. I own everything that happened to me. As opposed to somebody come and say, see that man Audley, I'm crazy, I go, okay, I'm crazy. All right, so now allow me. Okay? And because once I owned it and I know what I need, I take my medication, I sleep, I exercise, and I create a circle or a space that I can exist in without anybody pushing my buttons. Okay, so just hitting home runs, man. You like a girl, and then you realize the girl is too cantankerous. You're always arguing. If you're in a relationship and you're always arguing, it's um once because some people are just sadistic. They like that kind of I'm gonna change you, I'm gonna do, but you normally do recognize flags. But a lot of times, a lot of people don't Want they oh I love you so much or I'm gonna change. There we go again. You see the flags, but you're thinking to yourself that you can change that person into what? And if you even do for a little while, it's not comfortable. So normally you do see it right off the bat, and it comes with somebody disrespects you, somebody argues a lot with you and disrespects you. You see that off the bat. Why do you want to go any further? Because it's not going to end well. Well, the positive that I've gained from my journey is being comfortable by myself. Uh, because I guess I've always been a loner in a sense, because as an artist, um, my best creativity comes when I'm alone. And when I was in the hospital system for over 10 years and going high and low from my bipolar up and down, when I came out of the system, I realized that I could put myself under restraints. I didn't need to be tied to a bed or medicated. So I found ways to do some tai chi or to, as I said, work out or but remove myself, go into the woods, go camping, and so the most positive I've gotten from my journey is how I'm impacting others and how others who saw me when I was, walking around like the mad lion from the Lion of Zion with my dreadlocks, and and I'm able to put it under control, and it's through meditation and also the power of God. I mean, literally accepting, um, because God. There's a scripture that I used when I was going through my journey, and it was the 23rd Psalm, and I never let that go. I never let it go, and I meditate on it. So my biggest thing is that I believed in that I can get through it, and I did it. And now, because I got through it, I was able to get a book on like how to for other people's, oddly enough, that's out there, and how to help them when they're going through the journey. And I'm inspiring a lot of people. I mean, and that gives me pleasure. That gives me joy. Well, the blind cannot lead the blind. Okay, and the worst thing is like if you're drowning, the last person you want to jump in to save you is somebody that can't swim. All right, so when you're whole, like right now, even the reason I'm sitting here, look at the patient I had. I came here at 3 o'clock. I've been up. I went to the gym. I taught a couple of classes because I'm grounded. I'm well. Okay, I'm well within myself. So if I'm not well, I cannot go be in a relationship with somebody. It's not even fear, because I'm hoping that being with this other individual that's well is going to like balance me. It doesn't work. That's from my perspective. And when I get up in the morning, I'm like the happiest guy. I'm in the moment because it's a new day. And I always look at the moment as a present. I don't think about yesterday or what's going to happen later on. And I start with just, giving thanks to the universe. Open the door, see that the world is still there. Don't turn on the news. I don't listen to the news in the mornings. Just get a perspective of myself, have a cup of coffee. I don't even eat breakfast in the morning because my temple is very important. I have a coffee to start the day, and I'm thankful because I've had a lot of losses in the last couple of years. I'm an orphan now. I lost my mom and my dad and some of my best friends, and I've actually learned how to deal with losses. And even from a spiritual perspective, most of the what my parents or my friends have given me, they're always with me. You know, because as I said, I am I'm the one that's carrying the torch now. So they're not here with me physically, but spiritually, they're always guiding my footsteps. So every day I get up, like, and then I go to the gym. I've been teaching at the Atwater Club for 25 years. Okay. And I have a group of women called the Yummy Mummies, about 25, 30 women. And when I see them show up, it helps me to get through the day. So having a purpose. So it's important to get up and have a purpose. Okay. And then usually by about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm gone to bed. Well, remembered is like somebody that never gave up, never giving up, and I don't feel sorry for myself. I mean, with all the negative things that happened to me, I mean, as I said, when I was in my bipolar high, you know, as I said, I, I lost everything. I went bankrupt at one time. I lost my eyesight. Even sometimes when I think about some of the stuff that happened, I got beaten up by the police. I ended up in Partenay. As I said, I was over medicated. I didn't go outside. I was in the hospital for, I know 7, 8 months at a time with no fresh air. And sometimes, like now, when I think back at the stuff, if I didn't read it in the book or reading on paper, it didn't even seem like it really happened. So right now, I'm living my best life. So I just want to be remembered as somebody that was always happy and always putting my best foot forward. And I have no regrets. I don't want to be remembered as an angry person. And I'm always helping people. I always, no matter how many times I've been used or abused or whatever, my thing is I am love. If I was able to go back in my DeLorean, back to the future, my younger self, I would just tell my younger self just to enjoy life to the max. You know, because all of even the breakdown and my dad leaving and everything, it was a part of the plan. It's like I had like my plan about what I wanted to dance professionally, which I did. Being told, like as I said, go to school, go to church, obey the law, and all of that. As I said, now at this age, I realize it's all a lie. And me, I'm the most successful one out of my family. All of the ones that were more, square into, I'm gonna get this career, I'm gonna do this and that. And now I'm the one that have to go. I just buried my father in Jamaica out of my pocket. And I'm dealing with things and I'm not supposed to be dealing with it from an artist, being an artist that I am right now. The most important things to me right now, I was robbed of a good 10, 12 years of my life. I have one son, Jamal. I didn't have any interaction with him because of my mental health. His mom took him away from me, and I didn't get to see him for 12 years. And we reconnected, but it was never, you cannot make up for lost time. And the pain that I endured not having a proper relationship with my son, my only son, left a major hole in my heart. And he has 3 kids, and I would love to spend more time with my grandkids. Like he has 3 sons. Now my daughter Mary, who is like my heart, like she's always been there, and even she had played a major role in my recovery because when she was 5 years old, and she came to visit me, and she looked at me, and she goes, I was in a very high manic, and she looked at me and she goes, I want my dad back. And a 5 year old child looking at her dad, and I was gone. I was not in this reality. And she goes, I want my dad back. And she has no idea the impact that had on me. And now she has two beautiful daughters. So when I spend time with my kids or my grandkids, that's goal. There's no money. There's nothing. There's nothing on this planet that can give me that kind of that yeah at this age, that we just sit around and play, and just being with them. So that's why it's important for me to keep going to the gym, and keep healthy, because they're getting bigger and they're harder to pick up. Well, peace, everything is all relevant, okay? Because I can tell you, Audley Coley will finds peace with. It's all within you. Everything comes from you. Unfortunately, people are always looking outside. They're looking outside, as we say in Jamaica, for manna, to fall from heaven. They're looking for God to come and save the earth. We're always sitting down there. We're waiting for the paycheck to come. We're waiting. So while you're waiting, what can you do while you're waiting? So everything's come from you. Okay? God, yeah, I hear when I was growing up, God help those who help themselves. So my thing personally, or the advice that I could pass on to somebody if they want to use it, is that it's up to you. It comes from you. You have to ask yourself, what do you want to do? I know right now what I want to do, and I'm doing it. I am healthy. And once I am healthy, and I know how to make myself healthy, and being healthy also, you attract positive people around you. So if you want to have people around you who make you bring you down and all that, that's your call. If you want to be in a relationship with some toxic people or girl, and try to change them to bring them into your circle or into your space, it's up to you. But if you want to find out who you are, you need time alone. And as I said, a lot of people they're afraid of being alone. And it's different to be alone or to be lonely. So peace comes from within. And you have to learn how to breathe. Because according to the prophecy, our God, when God created man, what did he do? He breathed He breathed breath. That's all. Once the breath, once the breath leaves this, it's just a shell. When you understand the breath, the breath is life. Here we go again. I'm going to repeat myself, but I can point it out to them because I've been down that road, and I can let them know, if you do this, you don't have to crash and burn. Because technically, in my journey, I crashed and burned numerous times. It's like you're banging your head against the wall, expecting a different result. And it took me a few times of losing relationship, losing my job, losing stuff, to realize there's something wrong. So if I could speak to you and say, um, I would like to use my experience so you don't have to go down that rabbit hole. See, also what I'm doing right now, I'm living off a lot of other people that I've seen that went, crashed, and burned and never came back. Fortunately, I see that in myself and I can stop it before it goes to that distant. So, but again, if I see you and I come up to you and I go, I see that you have this happening. If you don't mind me assisting you, if you want me to get involved, I'll be more than happy to help you. But at the same time, the person has to be willing to open the door. It's just like in the Matrix. You can take the blue pill or the red pill. We have choices. And I have a choice because I chose wellness. I chose to be able to have control over my mental health. So that's why I'm not dead or walking on the street without any clothes or whatever. Because I've seen people that I was in the hospital system with, and they are not doing that well if they're still alive. It's either they're not with us anymore, or I'll go downtown on St. Catharines and I see some of them. They're out there. I'm somebody who has a mental health situation that I've found a way how to harness it, and I'm more than happy to share it. And if somebody utilize my knowledge, they don't have to end up getting beaten up by the police. They don't have to end up being homeless. They don't have to end up committing suicide, right? And that's what I have done. I have, thanks to the grace of God, so has saved me so I can be here to save others.